For
Y'all know that I'm in the bathroom.
You were just thinking, they got a big brother,
Sorry, you need it right here.
We have testing going on.
Get some of the ground.
That's it.
Never.
I mean, I look on that.
She's working some more in. She's working some more in, those are mine.
How about that?
We got some more agendas coming this Wednesday.
Madam, you lead us in prayer, please.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather together, oh Lord God, we ask that you forgive us, Father, when we have failed you. Father, we ask that you bless our marriage, bless our Lord, of all that we move forward. Father, we love you, we want to love you more. In Jesus' name, thank God, amen.
Amen.
Alderman Rodriguez Brown. Here. Alderman Fred Esco. Alderman Eric Gilkey. Alderman Lafayette Wells.
Here.
Alderman Les Penn.
Present.
Alderwoman Daphne Sims. We adopt this agenda. City of Canton experienced a tremendous victory as of yesterday for the Board of Supervisors. I think it was so significant to the extent that the public really needs to know about it. So I'm gonna ask if our attorney, Ms. Banks, and our chief, if they will step forward and share with us the experience that we yesterday and what it means to the city of Canton and to our citizens.
You want to stop?
Oh, wait.
You want me to stop?
There were several aldermen there. Mr. Lafayette Wells, Ms. Daphne Sims, Mr. Fred Esco, Mr. Eric Gilkey. We want to thank Mr. Les Penn for representing all of us.
Do it again.
Like I said, what it all boils down to is that it is dealing with revenue, dealing with finance, because the city of Canton, we respond to the county area. We only get $21,000 to go outside the city limits to all the areas in the county in our fire district for $21,000. And South Madison County Fire District, which is where we have property on Southwell Road, and it's within our city limit, within a fire district. And for them to be able to have the citizens of Canton dealing with the apartment complex and the business that are coming to the city of Canton to be able to be taxed by them 8 mills off the citizen of Canton, off the business of Canton, and we can't even get nothing. Like I say, we can't take in addition to that. So it's not fair to the city when the city of Canton Fire Department, we respond to a tremendous area outside the city limits. On the majority of our calls, we have 5 districts: District 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, outside the city limits. District 5 is get the most calls out of the whole 5 districts, and that's outside the city limits. And so the citizens of Canton are paying for this tremendous fire department, fire service that they have. And the areas on the outskirts, they're pretty much getting it free.
And so the main issue was just to kind of be as simple and break it down as simple as I can. And Mayor, you're right to impress upon the importance, because just today I've gotten calls from the Northside Sun about the issue. So it was a big deal because the laws that the Board of Commissioners of the fire districts had to agree, but now the laws that the Board of Supervisors can de-annex. So what happened was Canton, when they annexed, they moved in on that territory from the South Madison Fire District. So we were requesting the county to take them out of the city limits. Technically, that's the city limits. So it's a big deal for us to be primary responders in our own city, which we should be, instead of secondary, which we were.
So that's what it's boy. It's no hostility. It's none of. It's not a Canton. It's not taking nothing from Madison County Fire District. We're not taking nothing. We're not trying to take nothing. It's already the city limit. That's what our main focus is already the city limit. I can see if we was trying to go into their district and their territory and take from them, but this is something that was already awarded to us in 2007 and 2008. So that's what it boils down to. It's not that the city it's not taking nothing from Gluckstadt Fire Department at all. It's just we already have the city limit and it's already our boundary. So it's no more than right for us to be the primary and for that area.
And so we kind of set the tone, because I'm sure other cities are going to come behind us. Madison is probably going to come behind us. City of Ridgeland is going to come behind us when they do their annexation. And they're going to want the fire districts de-annexed out of their area too when they incorporate. So I think it's a big victory for us, and I think it's a big victory for all the cities in Madison County. So.
Good.
Thank you. Mayor calls for the adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. We have before us today a Mr. Zach Grossenbacher. Yes, sir.
How are y'all doing tonight?
Hello, sir. How are you?
My name is Zach Grossenbacher. I'm with a company called Mississippi Interactive out of Jackson, Mississippi. A couple of y'all have already met me. But I just wanted to come before you and introduce myself tonight and the company that I work for. We're Mississippi Interactive, in place with the state for going on 9 years now. We provide web development and payment processing services for the state of Mississippi, 65 agencies at the state level, and a number of towns and municipalities. We have 237 as of 2 days ago, services in place for the state of Mississippi. And I wanted to come and introduce myself and the company I work for because of the unique nature of our contracts to work with towns and municipalities at no cost to our municipal partners. We can provide certain web services and payment processing services for no cost, and you don't have to go through your procurement or bidding process since the state's already handled that. Some services that we've handled, just so you know, kind of the quality of the work that we do. We did the ms.gov website. We handle payments for license renewals, most state level license renewals, mobile application that's going very well. And like I said, hundreds of other things. I wanted to come before Canton, the Board of Canton, for a number of reasons. Number one, we want to get as many of our municipal partners, because we think of you as a partner already, whether we're working with you or not, because of our state contract, We're a tool that the state has made available for you, and I'm just here to let you know what we can do. But I have a personal relationship with Canton. I grew up in Madison County. My brother used to own a store on the Canton Square, Union Street, into a more formal partnership with the city of Canton. The services that we can provide for you range from, we do offer website development at no cost, a website template, but more, I think, that speaks to your needs is our ability to take some of your paper processes, whether that be building permits, Parks and Rec, anything that you're handling via paper applications, turn those into digital forms that work well on computers, cell phones, any sort of tablet device, mobile responsive design, and allow your citizens to fill those forms out via their mobile device. And if there's a payment component to that form, they can pay right there when they fill out on their whatever device they filled it out on. That money comes to you almost immediately within a day through DFA at the state level. And you get all of that information in electronic form, so you're not chasing paper all the time. Just as a reminder, I already said this, but because of the nature of our contract, All of those services we provide at no cost. Sign a contract with us, or you have to sign a statement of work, which just says what we're going to do for you, but no formal contracting process, as the state's already handled that. We handle all the building, all the hosting, and maintenance of your services. So the benefits are, you can greatly cut down on your administrative time. All of that, taking in paper forms, sending them to where they need to go, processing them properly can be handled a lot faster when that information is already in electronic form. Towns that work with us see adopted. That's increased revenue and decreased lost revenue. So those, I think of those as two different things. You'll see more money coming in and less money winding up in a drawer somewhere. You know how it is when you've got a million checks and money orders. I mean, things fall through the cracks. It's just unavoidable. And then, of course, cost savings. According to the state of Mississippi, a standard procurement process can cost anywhere from 5 to 6 figures. So avoiding that right there is immediate cost savings. You don't have to go through any of the process of building it. That's a cost savings. You don't have to go through the process of maintaining or hosting it, hiring someone with the know-how to do that. And that's just, as a brief introduction, I've got some material here. I would love to take any questions you have, but I would also love to come back and have some one-on-one time with whoever would like, so that we could better get into ways that we can serve the city of Canton's needs. So,
first of all, we would like for you to come back. Secondly, we would need your email.
I have business cards that I'll pass around as well,
Okay.
since it's my email has my last name in it, so I never asked anyone to. Your statement of work is incorporated into our state level contract, and that's the sum of your I like to call it hand raising. You raise your hand to work with us. That's what you have to do, since the state's, you can think of it as they've already bought the service for you.
Could you speak a little bit about your virtual reality?
Virtual reality, we don't have a lot of experience with VR experiences. We worked on a VR experience with the old Capitol. So there's an old, that's something that we're getting into in our parent company, which is NIC, a national company that we are a wholly owned subsidiary of, is starting to branch into, and a lot of states are doing very creative things with it. Those are usually, third, fourth, fifth step ideas, because it's going to be a time and cost intensive endeavor in virtual reality.
Well, I ask about that because it's a component of your advertisement here, and my interest in it was whether or not this virtual reality, I think you answered the application, particularly for kids,
For schools.
first grade
Right.
through fifth or sixth.
Well, I will say this, we're open to any conversation. We're always looking for new ways to engage with our partners and roll out. My boss was saying at our meeting the other day that our number one job is to make the state of Mississippi a better place to live. It's already a great place to live. We always want to try to find ways to do our part. So we're open to any and all conversations about ways to bring technology into the state. What we look at primarily for our town and municipal partners is that online, getting those first step digital interactions in place, getting your citizens used to interacting with you in a more digital nature online, which a lot of them are used to doing in a lot of areas in their life anyways, and then moving on from there, because those are going to be those no cost options for you.
I would assume off the bat, something that we would really be interested in is especially the payment options of how we receive payments. Because I know we're not getting, I would not imagine we're getting that service for free at the moment.
Yeah, and so our payment options, we have online payments and we also have in-person card readers. So you can have online payments and you can set up the same services for in-person. So for instance, right now we're in the process of setting up a water bill payment. It's a pretty simple, bare bones payment for a small town outside of Starkville, but they're setting it up where their citizens can receive their water bill in the mail, then go pay online, or come into City Hall and pay in person. And we're saving them, was 80 times 11, $960 a year, because they were paying $80 one time. So, right there, huge savings for a small town. We're also setting up for that town festival registrations, y'all's big festivals coming up right now for vendors to be able to pay via card online. We're setting up, we got 8, so I'm trying to remember them all. The court fines and fees, I'm sure y'all use Court Pay or some similar service I saw online already, but, we do something similar.
Do you know what kind of funds Court Pay usually costs monthly, annually, or state-driven?
I think it depends on what you're able to negotiate when you sign up with them. I've heard different things from different people, and they're not in the business of telling me their business practice, their numbers. All of our payments, the way that we make our money, just to be transparent, is when we take a payment, there's a set e-government fee plus a small percentage. I like to say, just from experience, that it averages around $3 for a transaction. So sometimes that's a good deal. Sometimes it's not the best deal. But we offer more than just payments with those. With the fact that we build everything, host everything, and maintain it, you're getting a lot of value out of that for your citizens.
So you have a system, I guess, in which constituents make a payment, and is the payment cashless?
It is. We do not handle cash payments.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We're not in the business of, we don't touch cash. We don't do it.
We need to talk to you.
We are electronic payments only, so we can do credit, debit, and ACH.
All right. You'll hear from us.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate your time.
All right.
Parks and Recreation monthly update.
I'd like to say good evening to everyone.
Good evening, how are you?
First of all, Mayor, I want to let everyone know that on this coming Thursday at 11 o'clock at the Multipurpose Complex, we will host our annual Senior Citizen Luncheon starting at 11 o'clock. On December the 5th at 6 o'clock, the annual Christmas parade will take place. I'd like for all your aldermen to be in attendance of that. All city employees starting at 6 o'clock.
What's the date?
December the 5th.
All right, are we back on the good date of where, or what?
Oh, yes, the first Thursday after Thanksgiving is in December, yes.
Okay, and that's where it was for.
That's how it's been for years, yes, due to the
Okay.
fact, yes,
Right.
that's where we are now. Also, Mayor, we have basketball registration, that is in process. We registering kids for youth basketball. And, the Martin Luther King Day, event will be January the 20th, 2020, starting at 10 o'clock. We're in the process of asking you guys to, so we can get the bands and stuff adopt, with all the museums, we can get the money to adopt, so we can get the bands to participate in that day also too. We're working on the program there.
Okay.
I'd like to Mayor Love Truck Stop Community Grant out to apply for it, a community grant, and apply for a U.S. tennis grant. On that grant, Mayor, that's to improve the tennis court at Sal Park. So, so I'd like to get the authorization to do that. And at this time,
right.
And at this time, Mayor, I have Chris to visit with Neil Schaefer. There's some things that on several meetings I have told you guys where we are, how we're coming with the Sal Park Improvement Plan. Greater Southern Recreation have not finished by me watching and going on doing some things at that park. So I just want to, but they are requesting for a payment. So I just wanted to kind of bring you up. I want Chris, if you mind coming up.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
So, what was that timeline?
The timeline was supposed to be completed on August the 29th.
And that's by contract?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Did they specific, give you reason for the delaying time for the completion?
Well,
We got the money.
yes, well, yeah, we still, they're in the process of asking for some monies now, and I just want to, I've been telling you guys, I just want to make sure that I was trying to be good steward watching what was going on with the project. And Chris can kind of tell you, if we've been in contact with them, telling them on a timetable where we're going, where we are, then they just been lagging themselves, if you want to know the truth, you know, from my perspective. It hasn't been a high priority of completing the job. I know it has begun to rain on them now, but they had adequate time during the dry season to come in and do a job that we wanted for our money that we were giving out, because there was the company that was awarded the bid.
Do you recall if there's a part of the contract, clause in the contract that penalizes?
Yeah, and I can speak to that. So
Okay.
they had, the original contract completion date was August 29th, and we do have a provision in the contract for liquidated damages. That's $500 a day, a calendar day. So we're at 70 days beyond at this point.
What is that, $35,000?
It's in that range. Now,
You know your math.
some of that will be contested, I'm sure. You know, they'll probably have some claims for some rain days, but they're well into liquidated damages. We sent them a letter maybe a week or two after their original completion date and put them on notice that, you know, you are in the penalty at this point. They are aware of it. Later in the agenda is the recognition for payment. They put in their first payment application. We're holding back about $35,000 for exactly that reason, because we think that's in that range. So. But they are aware. They've got, you know, the majority of it is complete. There's just little miscellaneous items that they had not done just to finish up. They've got to sod it. They've got to do some grading work, and it just needs to be completed.
And being that it's not completed, are we compelled to pay them with it not being in its full completion, being that it's?
Yeah, I mean, I would look at this as a progress payment. You know, if had they submitted this exact same payment in September, I would have recommended this. Yeah, I think that we probably need to pay them something.
Have we gotten any correspondence from them other than payment? Have we got any correspondence from them saying why they want to, why they extend the contract?
They haven't requested an extension on the contract. They've provided some reasons as to why they're delayed or why they're late. Whether or not we accept that as a reasonable answer.
But should we have accepted the extension? That's.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't.
Is it in the contract where we should extend the contract?
Yeah, no. If they were to request an extension due to rain days, say for example, they got rain the entire summer and they couldn't get out there, they would have to document that and request it. They have not physically done that. We did request a completion schedule in the last 2 weeks, and I haven't seen anything on that yet. I mean, really, at the end of the day, what it seems to me is they're a general contractor, and they pieced this thing together. They had a fencing contractor and a splashback contractor and a landscaping contractor, and they just have not. They've fallen asleep by being a general contractor. They have not engaged their landscaping contractor. Is really what we need to finish this job. So,
and also to make everything a little bit more aware, once they was awarded the contract, they were still 30 days before they start doing anything. So it's been a lot of just dragging along this project more or less. I'm not trying to down anyone, but it's just more or less once from my date from starting, I basically kind of kept a log on it. So more or less, that's just basically why I'm trying to let you guys know, looking at how things went on that project right there now.
If we make this payment, what's the balance on the contract?
$35,000 will be the balance.
Liquidated
damages.
Correct.
So why would we pay them their full amount when they haven't completed the project?
We're not. That's what I'm saying. That we're holding back the $35,000. We're not paying them because what I don't want to get into is we pay them and then we have to go back and get it.
That's
correct.
Kind of like
We're holding back that $35,000 for exactly
that's
that.
for the penalty.
That's for the penalty.
Correct.
So that means that essentially you pay them in full, and they can lag and say,
No,
well,
we haven't paid them in full.
well, if you pay them this other minus the $35,000, you basically been paying them that contract.
We're paying them everything but the $35,000, which is work that they have. They're claiming they have completed, and we're saying no, you haven't.
You're holding on to the
We're holding on to the liquidated damages. Correct.
But if we pay them and you hold on to that 35 and they're not complete, what happens then? Will the city be liable for take some of that 35 and finish it?
No, that's when you get into, and Kim could probably comment more on this.
Talk to us.
That's when you get into pulling performance bonds and that kind of stuff.
And they have bonds in
If they were to
place.
walk away, they have a bond in place where we could
They
pull
have a
and
bond in
complete it.
I mean,
Talk
let
to
me
us
ask you
about-
this, Chris,
talk to
have
us about
they,
payment.
what stage of completion are they
Yeah.
at on that project?
I mean, my opinion, if they came out there and spent about a day out there with a machine and got some sod in there, they would be complete. It's really not that much
Right.
they're lacking. They may have got punch list items that are pretty standard, but they just need to get somebody out here to finish it, and they just
So
have been.
can you say that they're substantially complete? Pretty much substantially complete?
I would say they're not substantially complete because they have not completed all of their items, and sod is one of the items. The splash pad is substantially complete, but not the contract.
Because basically they just finished putting the fence up last week, more or less, and that was all the fencing, the grading, all those components was a part of the contract once they were awarded.
Let me ask you two questions.
Yes, sir.
One is, what is MDA's position on this matter as it relates to an extension?
The extension of the funds.
Yeah, the whole program.
So, okay, the MDA original loan obligation date was by the end of the year. I believe we've requested an extension concession building. I can't foresee a scenario where the splash pad contractor does not complete by the end of the year. So I don't know
You
that
think the splash pad will be complete by the end of the year?
I would hope it's done in a week.
Okay, so I guess what I'm trying to clarify.
So can we just pay them next week? I think
Right.
that's what
Yeah,
someone
that's
was
what I'm
saying.
saying.
Yeah.
That's basically what I'm saying.
Because if they've been slow all this time and you pay them, they may get even slower.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, are we compelled at this point?
Right,
To make a payment?
today,
If
yeah.
not, let's hold off until they.
What are the chances they don't show up to complete without the payment?
Right.
Well,
Well,
so they only just submitted a request for $265,000, and I marked it down to $240,000. So for me, that's money that they've already obligated and spent out to subcontractors, to get this thing to where they are. So right now, they're in the hole $25,000. I would hope that would be enough to compel them to do $3,000 worth of sod work.
Yeah, but
I would hope.
I would hope that 200 and some thousand was enough motive for them to.
And it
come
may
in
be,
here
and that's
Yeah, that was my.
that's
line.
not. It's not for me to tell you what Kevin and I
Right.
be doing. I'm just
Well, let me
letting you
ask
know.
you a question.
200 don't move from 25,
If I may. So,
And typically, what you hold a retainer on a project, which we've got 5% on that to do exactly that. The remain, we didn't feel that was enough, the 5%, so we marked down more than that.
do you think it would be wise for them to come before this board and tell us in which direction they intend to go? And, do you think it would be inappropriate
Need to
for
go to
the
the
bond
party
to
to
be
decide.
voided?
Or you can just ask them to come and ask them to give you a completion date.
I mean, at the date we are now, I would hope by our next meeting, they have.
We can have a special.
I would
Yeah,
hope. I mean,
side
it's
down.
$500 a day. Like I said, it's like sod work.
Yeah.
You'd think they try to get it done as soon as possible.
That's
Every
what
week
we-
it's you would think.
$200,000, you come do it.
Correct.
Because theoretically, guys, what's gonna happen, if it keep raining or stay wet, they can't cut sod, and sooner or later, they won't be able to get no, and so that's why we are also too, and then you have the bond, so hey, if they're the one who wanna constantly lag on this project, from my perspective, hey,
Don't pay them.
That's what I'm saying, I don't wanna pay them. I don't wanna pay them $240,000, and all you have is $3,000 worth of side, and you can't even come to that.
Right,
That's ludicrous.
Yeah, right, that's no motive for them.
No, if you can't come put down $3,000 worth of side, why would I pay you for $240,000?
I think these folks need to come before the board.
Yeah.
We
They just
have a
need to go put
special
that
meeting
side
with
down.
Just
them.
let them know we.
I don't
need
think
results.
that we're a priority for them.
I feel that well. That's
I
why.
think there are elements of complacency, and I don't think they're taking us as serious folks.
But tell them all you gotta do is put the sod down there.
That's it.
I mean, it's really not that hard.
That's it.
Tell them we want some real
We'll pay them in
results.
full, then,
Not just talk.
in lieu of the liquidated.
Right.
All right.
Well, no, I think we're still looking at liquidated damages.
Yeah, that's
You know,
okay. We gonna keep that.
Because in reality, this thing was supposed to be done so we could use it this year, and we can't. So there has been damage to the city by not completing.
Not much on the splash pad in December.
How?
Are we looking at March now?
Yeah.
It is Mississippi though, so it could be 100 degrees next year.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
How many more, items to go on the full completion of the park that we have, and how much money's left also?
Basically, in the cap loan, more or less, we have the concession stand that's been awarded now. Then they'll come in and put some fence work up, so it, Quincy, not Mr.
Darryl
McCorker, who was the contract. McCarter was awarded the contract, so they in the process, I don't know when it's gonna be complete.
Their completion date is in the middle of February, in that range.
Of next year.
Correct.
And that, at that point, with the total project, what percentage of completion will we be with the building of the concession? And what I'm trying to gauge is how much more work do, being that the splash pad is almost 300,000.
Okay.
And I know it was only like 600,000 or.
699.
699.
Mechanically, that's
So
what
that makes
y'all
it-
a reminder about that. So
Is
we got
that-
the $699 from the cap plus the
Yeah.
$200,000.
So that makes it almost 900.
Yeah.
That's $900-something thousand, almost $1 million.
And the cap loan is almost exclusively the splash pad and the concession building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Getting with the county on that as far as the asphalt, due to the fact they had to do something with their asphalt paver, they can't put the asphalt down right now. So I talked to Kenny last week. He in the process, he said it'd be next year before I put the asphalt down. That's who was debating on putting the asphalt down from the county.
And did they give you a total of the building of the concession, the price total?
Yes, that was that's who they awarded the contract. I can't remember exactly what the numbers
Can
on
you
that.
remember what that number was? I want to
I
say
can't
it's
recall.
350-ish.
$340,000. I'm thinking. I'm not. Go back on some notes I may have.
No, there's a bunch of sidewalk
yes,
fencing.
They're
They're doing the entrance and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, they have some.
There's a lot of food in the concession.
Yes, let's have some more landscaping and some other things that was in that component as far as in that entire during the building and all that stuff right there.
Okay, good.
It wasn't just that building, more or less.
Good.
And all that is in that contract to be complete by middle February.
And with the extra 200 from the county, what are we looking at to utilize it for?
That's a walking track, the pavilion, and the some dirt work and stuff more or less, like the riff-raff rocks. Had to buy some covers and stuff of that nature with the county more or less in that part right there. Making sure the asphalt parking lot, making sure the walking trail.
I know we probably be shooting for late spring.
Oh yes, most likely it's gonna be late spring before everything. That try to do a.
We don't want to put any new landscaping out before then anyway. Keep playing.
Well, basically, this is the best time I almost try to put the plants down. This is due to the fact because if you put the plants down this time of year, you won't be so at least.
You're on the water.
Huh?
You're on the water.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the reasons why you theoretically it's the time of year to put your landscape down in the fall time of year because you want the water.
Right.
So, I want to ask you one question. So, we're not gonna be finished with this part that you want 35 days.
Oh no,
So
Okay, so, yeah.
Business or something.
I talked to the county attorney briefly yesterday, but I guess we need to ask for an extension on that so we can use it, after December.
yes,
One of the things that I'm concerned about, I know that we talk about the extension on the concession stand, but do we have in writing anywhere as it relates to the extension of this entire project? Because this project is actually seemingly going over into March. So do we have a letter in writing as we speak, as saying that it's okay to go over into March?
From MTA?
Yes.
I know Keith requested it. I have not seen the letter from, is it Jennifer, at MTA?
Jennifer, one of them.
Yeah, I have not seen the letter yet, but my understanding was that Keith spoke with her informally about it before he put the formal request in, and she was okay with it, as long as we provided some dates.
When you asked me, Matt, earlier, I called Keith and Keith sent the request. I asked him for the request, so I have not saw
Well, this is my point. It'll be helpful because usually corporate folks deal with paper validation. So it'll be helpful if the MDA goes on record
yes, sir.
allowing us this extension.
Yeah, and I believe they've done an extension previously. And,
They've done it
when we
previously.
requested, they said they do send a letter saying,
Yeah.
yeah.
What we need them to do it again, and it needs
Correct.
to be on file,
Yeah.
so there won't be any misunderstandings. If we can do that, that'll mitigate a lot of folks' anxieties.
Yeah.
Okay? I get that.
Thank you.
All right.
Ahead of time.
He won't fit.
He never did. He never did. He did.
Ms. Joy Dobson?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I have a little handout. Separate one. I just wanted you to look over that resolution here. And could you guys share one?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna look over it. Okay, so just wanted to give everyone an update on a couple of things. I did receive, Rodriguez, we brought up at the last meeting that we were gonna try to schedule a meeting to go over the budget and maybe fine tune some things. I know Dr. Rhodes was not present at the meeting, but she did forward me the budget and I looked over it. It was the general fund budget, so I made some notes on that based on a couple of questions. But once I got a more detailed budget and we sat down together, maybe the three of us, we could possibly dive in it a little deeper and maybe compare pricing on some different contracted services like we spoke about in previous meetings. And contacted Mansell Media to determine if our outdoor classroom reservation calendar could be added to the city website. If approved by you all, I saw that there's a subsequent item on the agenda today to go ahead and adopt that, so pending that approval, we do add that. And then I linked the scheduling website, which accepts payments. Actually, all the stuff you said probably could be, we could negate this one that I found, which is just a free one online, and do something more in tune if you guys hook up with the gentleman that spoke 2 people ago. I don't know his last name. Okay, sorry.
It's normal.
And then I just wanted to update that I'm preparing a plaque of sponsors to install at the outdoor. We do have a small issue there. It was brought to my attention by 2 people, and I've witnessed it myself. I spoke with Chief Brown about it, and we have a small, loitering issue there. I'm going to install a no loitering sign from Keep Canton Beautiful, and I think that's just maybe because of the cold temperatures. I don't know if it's gonna, I don't think it's gonna be a prolonged problem. Hopefully it won't. My concern is that anybody rests there. My concern is litter and, any other stuff that goes on when you spend the night. The last 3 things are offers. My offers as it relates to my position, to utilize me in a more functional capacity. I can prepare a running list of properties that are in violation so that when you guys do vote on them, we can determine a proper course of action for the next. I can take a look at the minutes once they're published and produce a follow-up report on whatever items require that follow-up. And then I'm offering to prepare the quotes. We briefly talked about this at the last meeting, but there were a couple people not present, so I'm just offering again to prepare quotes for pressure washing and small improvements to the front of City Hall, which is the concrete stucco material. There's some small caulking and maybe some light fixture repairs that are needed. I think the entire job can be around $1,200 to $1,400, maybe even closer to $1,200. It's just pressure washing and some TLC mold and things like that. And then just open to hear whenever the board meets in executive session. If you guys want to come up with any other things that you'd like to send my way, I can certainly work on those things as well.
As far as the pressure washing stuff, I actually thought we had gone ahead and said go ahead and so if not, I mean, I'd like you if you go ahead and get those quotes written up and brought to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was a motion made or,
I mean, to my understanding, with you being an employee, you know, we don't have to make the motion to get the quotes.
Well, you can't take any formal action till you accept the quote, so.
That's what I'm saying, she can go,
Yeah,
she can go collect the quotes and bring them to
She
us.
can,
Yeah,
okay. I'll have those prepared for the next meeting on December 3rd.
okay.
And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As it relates to the approved claim docket, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Two in favor.
Nobody's speaking, nobody's raising a hand.
So it's
There's
three.
three.
Nay.
Okay, motion carried. Approve the payroll docket.
Motion.
Who
Second.
did the second?
I said.
All in favor? Motion carried. Approve the budget report after the report has been made.
Yes, I'm here to make it, Mayor. Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, total revenues for the month of October, our new fiscal year 2020. Revenues was $607,000. Our budget for October was $751,000. So we're under in the revenues primarily because the ad valorem taxes are budgeted over 12 months. And we receive them in February and March timeframe. The expenditures, we actually came under budget this month in October. Expenses for October is under budget by $70,000. This amount is attributed to $56,000 underrun in payroll. Payroll underrun is attributed to health insurance premiums for the first pay period ending October 3rd was paid in September. And the remaining $20,000 underrun is attributed to cash flow timing differences for line items that were budgeted across 12 months but paid in one particular month, such as workers' compensation. Workers' compensation is paid in January, approximately $150,000, but it's spread out over 12 months in the budget. Landfill, our revenues exceeded the budget for the month of October and with landfill, and we had an increase in the receipts, the landfill receipts, which is not the garbage collection, but the actual money that they take in for landfill operations. And the expenses were slightly under budget by $38,000 for landfill, and that's due to the timing difference for some of the lease payments that we have in the budget.
On the multi-purpose, is that our RV rent, that $6,000? Is that what that is?
Yep.
No, that was.
Oh, that's expenditure.
That's expenditures. I think it was some light bill payments, some light.
What are we doing with the RV, rent?
It's coming in, so it's
know
in the total revenue, but
okay, so
I can
just-
break it out the next time like I used to.
I guess what I was getting to, for a few months,
Mhm.
pretty much all of last year, we were we were saying
Separate.
we were separating. But if it's in the total, I just wanna make sure we're still getting it as we have been.
And it's coming in really good now.
So everybody's current, everybody's
Yeah.
okay.
It's coming in, so we're getting it.
Would you separate it, that's what we'll know?
We
exactly
had the
how much.
RV rental and the multipurpose
That's
revenue
together.
separated, and
So
it's
so
still
you just
separated.
separate that.
Yeah, what I would do is go back to that old format where I had all of the revenues
Okay.
listed. I can do that, and that way you'll be able to see it on a monthly basis. The next handout I gave you was to just give you an update on the grants that I've been managing for the city. The Mississippi Office of Highway Safety fiscal year 2019 grant, we received $21,190, and we expended $19,415 in reimbursed for that. That primarily was a grant that we had for the police officers overtime, to work overtime for safety-related issues, seatbelt, DUI, things like that. So, we were behind at one time, we got a non-compliance notice, we're caught up, we're staying current. This grant is very labor intensive, we do this every month, it's a big package we have to provide to them that details all the citations for DUIs, how many cars they stop, and how many seatbelt citations, everything, and you have to give a copy of the citation. So we reapplied for refunding for 2020, and we were awarded $48,955 for 2020. And so it just started with October, and we spent $2,114, so we're on track for that. The 2014 COPS grant, we received funding of $127,191. This grant was in non-compliance status when I started, so we got it back in compliance. We have an extension on the grant, and it's for 3 years, and we've received reimbursement of $20.56. So that's $127,000 spread out over 3 years.
Cause at one point, we was in lieu of owing.
Yeah, owing, and we don't owe, we got that straight.
And now we're getting.
And now we got
Right,
it
good.
straight.
Yeah, thank you.
So the body worn camera grant, we're actually trying to move forward. That grant was scheduled to expire September 30, 2019. We brought it back in compliance, and we requested an extension to September 2020, and they approved the extension.
And this is item T on the agenda today?
That's right, that's what
Okay.
that is on the agenda. So the grant, we have to not only purchase and receive the cameras, we have to have our police officers trained and at the point where they can utilize all the equipment.
So when do we plan on getting those cameras and?
Once we approve the contract, you know,
As of
that's
today?
on today, yeah, we can move forward with the order. The contract itself does not separate the equipment and the services, but it's really not, I talked to the vendor, we really can't separate it because that camera, that equipment goes with their software. It's kind of like that, you can't,
Have the camera.
if you have cameras, you're not gonna have software, so you
Right.
can't, people won't be able
No
to
good.
utilize it. Plus, they're providing the training as well. And the chief may be able to add more to that, I don't know if you wanna talk on it, okay. But, we did reduce it down from 25 to 12 cameras, so we're hoping that we can, that is in the line of the grant funding, then we can request additional funds later. So, the Brownfield grant, it was $300,000 grant over 3 years, and we've been reimbursed $233,000 for that grant. So it's very close to closing out that whole funding, and the renewal is up December the 3rd. I think it's on the agenda to be voted for today. PPM Engineering, I think they're engineering firm, but PPM Consultants are going to write the grant, and they're not going to charge us anything, which I was like ecstatic.
At this point, you saying that we utilized $233,000 that we're being reimbursed? Oh, what projects?
Yeah, we've gotten reimbursement for that.
Which projects are?
Brownfield,
Yeah.
pretty much all the money went to the engineers. All of it, to the PPM.
For what? That's what I
Well, what I'm saying is, you know, we had to pay them for something.
They did the studies to look at what areas were considered, even South Park was one of them, to see if we had any contaminations. and what have you, and they provided reports to say these areas are clean, we've done the study, this, that, and the other. So it strengthened our position with South Park, and I think going forward in economic development, Mayor, is supposed to help strengthen the city's position, that we've had these brownfields tested, they've tested for asbestos and other contaminants, petroleum, other hazardous.
I thought they were looking at a location to do a project.
But what it is, it's for us to,
Nah.
it's really for us to identify
That
an
I-
area
yeah,
to do.
So they come in and make sure we can do a project on a
They do
location.
what,
That's
they
right.
do the
There you
assessments
go.
to make
They
sure
do
we
the
got-
assessments, they don't do any cleanup, it's
But there are
strictly.
cleanup grants.
There are cleanup grants, but that was not like
Yeah, as long as they pay us
and you don't
for it,
even do
I'm
the
good.
cleanup.
I just wanna know what
Yeah.
the use for that.
Now, when they
So
renew the
what-
grant,
Is that what's gonna continue?
Right.
That's why they're right.
have we identified some of what they are doing?
Well, you know, what's that
Well,
old
we
furniture
get a
place where they
report.
used to make the furniture, send it somewhere?
Madison.
Yeah, I think, didn't they go out there? Some of us went out there and took a look at that.
Well, at one point, we had a contract to store some, from Vertex Aerospace.
L3,
L3, yeah,
they went somewhere else.
yeah.
I think they're also looking at that old place on, what is it, West North, Fred, where the church is? There used to be
Yes,
a
it's-
dairy place.
The TWL, warehouse.
Warehouse.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you do some of that or tear it down.
Well, that's what they're looking at.
And do what it says.
Quickly.
They'll assess it and say whether you need.
No, good deal.
to tear
And
it
it's hot in here.
I'm not too-
Turn the air on.
No.
You ready to say something?
Well, we talked about South Park already, but I just have it on here to show what we've received reimbursement for on that loan. $76,669 against that $699, that $700,000 loan. And as the attorney said, we did request Madison County to pay us the $200,000, so we're waiting to hear back from them, but we probably put in for an extension on that. And the SAFER grant, I put that one on there because I'm gonna be tracking, just keeping up with the cost and what we've expended on it, but, no actions taking place yet. We have until March, we have to have all 6 fire, is Keena here? We have to have all 6 of the firefighters hired by March. Ms. Crowley today, and she said we had to have all 6. So we need to probably start posting, doing some job descriptions, posting, interviewing,
Okay.
things like that.
Let
So
me ask
March
you-
will be here before you know it.
Let me ask you a question about the South Park, Madison County, which you received $200,000 in payment. When that request was made, was there a description, Alvin, Dr. Rose, as to
No,
how that money is to be used?
Oh, in the interlocal agreement, it does talk about deduction, but it's not like we have to provide any invoices showing what we spent that money on.
Well, let's revisit
It says
that.
it's a payment.
We need to revisit that because it seems to me that I had a conversation with Paul and the issue came out as to for what purpose and how the money was gonna be used.
Yeah,
So, okay.
I probably have to refer to the attorney and
Yeah,
what's
I'm
in that
thinking,
interlocal.
if I recall correctly, I think they give it to us, it was 2 different
We'll use it
levels
the way
we
we want
did.
to.
One April, one October, we can use it however we want to, but they are gonna want an accounting
Okay.
at some point, of how we used it.
Yeah, but it's not like it's reimbursable that you have to show the
No, it's
invoice
not
up front.
No, it's not reimbursable, they'll
Mhm.
give you the money up front.
And we sent an invoice requesting payment, so we'll see. And the America Bloom grant, it's up for renewal at $25,000 for the flowers for the city, and,
Donna Yao did that?
that was Alvin Parks and Rec.
Yeah, but wasn't it Donna Yao who wrote the
Yeah,
grant?
she did that grant, and so it's on here, we haven't received any reimbursement yet because she hadn't even requested reimbursement, so. It's a one-time, request, So you get the money at one time at the end of the grant cycle. So I've been in communications with her, and she says she's gonna get all the invoices together and request it soon. See if she needs anything from us as well. So I've been communicating with her about it. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. As it relates to the routine agenda, we need a motion to approve the budget report, apparently.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. Adoption to department memorandum form in-house application, what is that?
John and I put together, it's an application that John wants to, he has it, want to, the city to approve where we offer jobs in-house for qualified people as well as the outside first, for anywhere but the police and fire, since it has to be a separate, agenda for them. And it's an application just for city employees that are already, John has, that's already here in different departments. For instance, they work for Public Works and they want to transfer to the landfill. There's an app process so we can see what their criteria is and what they can and cannot do. And there are some special qualifications for it.
So let me ask you a question. So are you saying that if the slot is open in the landfill, in the first department, so you're saying that those slots should be relegated just to in-house personnel?
No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is the application process would be open to them as well.
Open to them as well as to folks who are not part of the city employee pool.
Right.
But I mean, that would be discussed with the department heads.
Correct. Actually, the process will go through the department head.
Okay, y'all are just doing the form?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's just the forms that
They will have to fill out. For the apply for the job.
And they have,
If they're
and
interested.
if they're interested, and then if they're applying for that job, they would actually have to go through the department head that they're actually working for first before they actually can even apply.
So if they're applying for the job, does it put on hold the applicant who's not an employee?
Yes,
It does?
it put them on hold.
Now, if,
She's saying that they're gonna consider in-house
First.
Is that what
Yes.
you're asking?
yeah, so you consider in-house first. So an individual like Mellon, who let's assume he's not an employee, applies for that same slot. So you wouldn't consider him at first, you would consider the city employee.
Just like it was, we used to do it back in the day. Actually, that's how I came into City Hall. I actually came from the police department. And we had to apply then to actually come to a different department.
And that's not discriminatory?
It's in-house first.
No, I didn't ask that. I said, is that not discriminatory? I don't know.
Actually, I'm working with the labor board with this as well. And when I get back with her in the morning, I'll make sure I ask that.
Because you're talking about a defined preference.
Okay. I asked that question.
It excludes folks who are from the outside, who at a point in time stops where they never have a chance.
Cause see, say a job opens in Public Works, and somebody from
I'm here looking at her.
Speak to us.
and somebody from landfill does Public Works. Alright, well then someone's gonna see the job open at landfill, and they're gonna go from Parks and Rec to landfill. Then Parks and Rec's gonna be without somebody, and they're gonna go from cemetery to Parks and Rec, and the cemetery's gonna be without somebody.
And then cemetery could go from the outside and hire somebody.
Right.
Well,
I'm just saying,
That's okay?
why do we wanna?
I understand lateral transfers.
We have, let me just say, we have a transfer policy already, but is this in complete form? Because I haven't seen this.
I haven't seen it either.
like that.
I just wanna make sure it's not discriminatory.
The form,
John has it.
Oh,
The process.
I'll make sure John
Yeah,
does it.
That's okay.
You know, why don't we just table this, Mayor? and-
Yeah, let's table it.
and allow,
Give me a motion.
city attorney, I so move that we table.
Thank you, Deborah.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Motion carried. H, consideration of acceptance and dedication of outdoor classroom.
That's with new provisions.
Right.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. Usage agreement for Gillum. Family use of city land, Canton lot.
Can we send something out?
Y'all have
What is that?
yeah, we completed it, but
Okay.
we had a recommendation of $300 from Jenny for the use of the lot. I gave it to you guys and said estimate, but it's at the discretion of the board. It's a lot, a vacant lot next to fire station number 3, and we give them 7 today.
Did they agree to that? Is that a fee you saying?
That's the fee. We have to charge something,
Because
but
you can.
it's up to you all discretion. You know, it's a vacant lot, so that was Jenny's estimate, but y'all can decide where you all want to decide if it's vacant or
So
fine.
you're saying it could be anywhere from that to $1 to $1,000, it's up to us. More than $1.
More than $1, but,
What's our liability?
well, we always ask for $1 million.
Means he got, does the family provide insurance?
He's gonna provide it to us, the agreement says he got to provide it for the year.
Okay.
And those are just those standard little, you get them from online and
Yeah.
cost them like $30 and, you know, they should be easy to get that.
And we can reduce the fee for,
Cause there's no, it's a vacant lot, it's an empty, we don't really have a way to determine.
yeah.
They are, but the only issue was that we didn't have a 501c3 set up, and it wasn't like a group doing it, so we couldn't do it as a donation. So we have to charge something for profit.
So if we can get a small, you know, reduce it to a small amount, that's agreeable with them, you know. And then, you know. So, okay, and I second.
What was?
Like $100.
$100. Do we get a second?
I did.
All in favor? Motion carried. Let me speak to item J, if I may. I'm of the opinion that at some point in time, we need to start marketing on social media. I have WNGO down there as well. W what? Yeah, well, at any rate, we need to start marketing the message to our constituents about not putting toilets and furniture and debris and bottles and cans on the side of the road and in ditches. I know this is not the only medium that we can use.
Do we have to pay him? Can we just make it a topic for?
But whether the board decides to go the WMGO way or whether they decide to go Facebook, where commercials are inexpensive and they can be boosted, where they can reach 2,000 and 3,000 folks. But I think we need to look at some kind of a social media for getting this message and this information out about what it is that we're trying to do and what we've done and the steps that we've taken. I don't think the message has gotten out there as of yet. And so it's just a suggestion. And it's the requisition for a minimum budget to get started. I think if you just did social media, meaning Facebook, and having these commercials done, you could do a lot of work with a couple of $100. There are people who actually do commercials for you and slang it out or spin it out to your constituents where they can actually see it. So I'm just asking the board to consider this, if not today, then of course at some point this message has to be gotten out because
It's gotten out of hand.
it's out of control.
Yeah.
I concur with you, Mary, and let's see if Jerry gonna give us the city discount.
PSAs?
I don't know, he's pretty expensive during,
Christmas time.
for city officials.
Well, Jared's just one track now, and we can utilize his services, but there's also, what's your name, young lady?
Jessica.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Jessica.
Jessica.
But, yeah, do you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes, sir.
She's
I don't mean
videoing
that.
you saying it right now.
Yeah. I don't mean that no one else understands.
You're live at the moment.
Oh, yeah, I'm live, yeah. But really,
I would like to make the motion to authorize the mayor to negotiate that and then just let us
Yeah,
know
can you-
how much it costs.
Can you get with Jerry and the
I'm
rest
sure
of
Jerry-
I can't get with Jared. Jared, I'm just kidding.
I might do that for free.
That's what I was saying.
So,
I mean, to tell people to not litter the city.
That's what I'm saying, that could be a topic for
That's
him.
common sense, yeah.
Okay,
He can run it for.
all in favor? You did the second?
Yeah.
Motion carried. I get with you, Jared, and with you,
Jessica.
Justin?
Jessica.
Oh, well, look, I can't hear well. Jessica, thanks. Item K, ladies and gentlemen,
Born.
is to authorize the city attorney to research and draft an ordinance regarding commercial and residential property within the city of Canton, including the historic district, which mandates restoration and functional use must begin within a period of 6 to 12 months after it is purchased. For an example, the tenant building is a dilapidated structure. Someone can come in and purchase it as is. But what we as governing authorities don't want is a gap from the time it is purchased or obtained through heir property or through inheritance to sit there for another 2 or 3 years. So I think that we have a duty to put a burden on whomever purchased a dilapidated house as is, that they have a timeline to begin restoration and a timeline to reach completion. And I think that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
If we could authorize the attorney to look at that and with an ordinance regarding this matter, then we won't have to worry about these buildings that fall in and fall down and somebody comes along and buy them for $3,000 or whatever they're gonna purchase them for, and then it's 2021 before they do anything with it. I think it should be 6 months before they get started, otherwise, why are you buying it? Just to let it sit there for another year, I don't think so. All right, Rodriguez said he's with me, what say ye?
I see. So,
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. Resolutions. L. I'm sorry, Les.
I forgot to add it before this meeting because we didn't have a meeting yesterday to add items. And I didn't say it because I would have been saying it to myself yesterday. But,
thank you, good audience.
yeah, well, Jerry was here, there's no others, Mel was here. Do we have a resolution about these, not necessarily campaign signs, but like right now, there's probably 8,000 signs on every corner that say,
No more dumps?
no, mattresses for
Yeah,
sale.
well, that came up today. Yeah.
I mean, do we have any,
We do have an
We do have
ordinance.
some kind of ordinance.
Yeah, we presently have ordinance.
But not
because there are literally 3 in every stop sign in the city since this weekend.
Zach, could you speak to
Well,
this?
not only do we have an ordinance, we have a department.
We have a department.
That should be.
And we just have public works that picks up.
Is that a public works deal or is that a Jimmy deal?
What?
Jimmy, that's a you deal.
Jimmy, you did?
I actually have been contacted by several people to take the signs down.
Well, if you knew you have a collection of signs tomorrow,
Yeah, I think we should just pull them up.
that's what he's doing. All right, we don't have to worry about
Now,
that.
when Rodriguez says we, he means himself.
Oh, well, I meant to bring one up here with me yesterday, but, you know, I didn't have a meeting anyway, so, anyway, that's all. Item L.
Item L, adopt resolution approving the site plan. Jimmy, you wanna step, cause a lot of this has to do with you.
Yes, sir,
Yeah,
Alton
yeah.
Fleegan, who's the architect on the project, is here to speak to that.
Mr. Callahan? Clinging, yeah, I'm sorry.
For everyone here not named, was here yesterday and presented his plans, and he has been approved to us.
Joe, good evening, y'all.
Good evening.
I appreciate the chance to talk to you. This project, we have gone before the architectural review, we've gone before zoning. We had one exception on the zoning, and they asked us to move the dumpster enclosure to a point behind the building, and this is the revised drawing that shows where we have moved. Excuse me. This site. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we
This is the site at the railroad on the north side of Peace Street. We have over to almost to Canal Street. There is it's a 55-foot wide strip of land between this property and Canal Street, except at the rear, we had to buy the time to get the water and sewer. So we see we have a driveway going out on the back side to Canal Street. The building will be a convenience store. We'll hope to have C-Spire and, what did he tell us? Excuse me.
He said C-Spire and a Pizza Hut is what it was looking like.
Mr. Beatty is not here tonight because he
Yeah,
said,
with the compressor. Yeah, if you're coming out of the channel, yeah.
he said this was a very special day, and I heard his father, his wife, and his son's birthday all on the same day. Wow. So I told him, I'm sure y'all would not hold it against him not to show up tonight, so.
My uncle and both his daughters have the same birthday. That's the only.
That's the first time in my life I've heard it.
That's the second time I've heard it in my life. So there we go.
Jimmy, this has already been approved by you.
Everything has
Yes,
been
yes, sir, it has.
moved to us.
It's not behind. Give me a second.
Motion.
Yeah. I need a second. In favor? Motion carried. Thank you. Is this you also?
Yes, sir. Yes. The next item is at 1451 Peach Street. This is the southeast corner of the intersection of Soldier Colony Road. It's now the Valero station. It's closed. We're gonna keep the canopy and the pump, and the tanks in the ground. Simply gonna tear down a building of about 900 square feet, and the new store is gonna be about 2,800, I believe, square feet.
So tearing down the old one, building a nice new one.
Right.
Okay. Motion.
We've gone through all the approvals. Yes, sir.
All in favor? Motion carried. Ian?
That's it. You're good. Tell them all happy
That's
birthday.
You got anything else you want to build?
I appreciate that. I can't, because I'll make sure y'all had any questions, I can answer for you.
All right.
Are you looking at the picture to build a sit down or
We'll approve it.
Yeah, definitely. No hassle.
I'm sorry?
I say, if you're looking to build a sit down restaurant, no hassle, we'll approve it. Just throwing it out.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're good.
In 459 Soldier Colony for turf scape solution for site plan. Is anybody here with,
Turfscape.
anybody here with Turfscape?
Is that on the east or west side of Soldier Colony?
That's gonna be on the south side of Soldier Colony.
What is
Oh.
it?
South side of Soldier Colony to the east of the multi-purpose center.
Across from the fire station?
There's immediately across the street,
Okay.
so that it's a little extra restriction.
Time out. Where, you got a drawing? Is it, what's in your hand, Jimmy?
Oh, that's what Mr. Klingon just dropped.
Oh, okay. So let me, south, when I'm thinking south, I'm thinking on the same side of the street as the complex. All right, so it's between that tree line and the complex?
Between this house, there's a house right there, between the house, I believe so, right there.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Murray, who's the owner, I called him this morning, he was not sure he'd be here this evening, or his architect. They're not here tonight.
Yeah, But all they want to do is put in their turfscape solutions there.
Right, which is, there are no signs, and we just our own company, no traffic, not much traffic at all.
Yeah.
What type of business is it?
It's landscape.
It's landscaping,
The houses are gonna stay there? And that'll be
There are other houses on his property.
Oh,
It's just
he
next
just-
to.
okay.
It's gonna be set, I think, 300 feet back from the road. I had a conversation with the mayor and Mr. Murray, his architect, several weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember.
We are
Yeah, will that be
Yeah.
landscaping done around it?
Everything should be.
Everything in
correct.
compliance?
There's issues with it being a district about the architectural standards. I think the mayor had said he was okay with what they presented.
What they present. Cause we know we want brick facades on a lot of this stuff.
Did we talk about the brick facade, like?
It's
Are
mostly
they
gonna
building
be,
a building?
it's gonna be way back in the back of the lot. There's a concern, the architecture review actually went ahead and approved this.
Has it been approved to us? Is everything?
For site plan, the architecture review already did their own thing, and this board doesn't approve architecture review.
So all we're.
You're just approving the site plan.
But are they following the, policies that we presented versus?
Presented to the mayor, we had that discussion of the mayor, I think was okay with them. There's, doing what they're doing, some of it would not be brick necessarily. Part of it would be brick, it would not be that visible from the road.
But that's just the mayor though.
From what I understand about their business, the little bit that I understand is that they're not building a big administrative office, like to have a brick building.
This is maybe like a storage shed.
Right, yeah.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Favor? Motion carried. Anything else? Said, adopt resolution of the city of Canton, Mississippi to apply for the Environmental Protection Agency FY 2020 Brownfield Assessment, Revolving Loan Fund, and cleanup.
So this moves.
Yeah.
Is that the $300,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Rose presented that earlier, so I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and adopt that resolution.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. Item P, adopt resolution of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of Canton, Mississippi, authorizing the engagement of certain professionals to assist with the municipality's issuance of its bonds, qualified obligations, loan for various authorized purposes and for related matters. Sounds like legal talk.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It
P and
is.
Q are
It's a
pretty-
resolution to authorize the hiring of professionals, specifically Jones Walker. You already hired Daylight Capital at a previous meeting, so it's a ratification in there of that. But Jones Walker, that Brad Davis specifically does our bonds, he has been doing our bonds and our disclosures. So he's familiar with all our bonding processes and how much debt we have, so it was easy for him to just whip out the bond resolutions every
Okay.
day, so.
So this is who you work with, like.
Jones Walker, Brad
Before.
Davis, the little.
Yeah, Brad Davis, okay, yeah.
You know
That's-
Brad.
Yeah.
You know Brad.
The scout guy.
Boy, yeah, the Boy Scout. That's Brad.
We have a motion?
Second.
Who made the motion?
Bless.
Oh, all in favor? Motion carried.
Two in.
Q, resolution of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the city of Canton, Mississippi, declaring the intention of the city of Canton, Mississippi to issue general obligation public improvement bonds of the municipality, to issue a general obligation public improvement bond of the municipality for sale to the Municipal Development Bank, enter into a loan agreement with the Municipal Development Bank, all in a maximum principal amount of $2 million in one or more series to raise money for the authorized purposes, directing publications of notices of such intentions and for related purposes.
Take a breath.
Authorizing you all the intent to proceed with the bond and make the application for the bond. I sent y'all an email regarding the December 17th special call meeting notice. Since you all wanted to push this and kind of get it done as quick as possible, if we, per the notice and publication deadlines, we have to wait until January. But if you want to do the protest by December the 17th, we have to have a special call meeting. So I just wanted to let y'all know that before you approve it, that if you approve that one, it has the notice of the special call meeting for December 17th for the protest period.
And these funds would be acquired for the flood improvement.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I think it was written in such a way in which if Fred wanted to add something else to this,
Okay.
'cause
It's basically a general obligation bond.
I would hope,
As it relates to,
I would hope, that we would include some street improvements.
as it, as, you remember last night, Fred?
Yes.
With all of the supervisors?
Yes.
Wish list.
We need to include some street improvements in there.
Okay, that's why she wrote
That's
it
very
that way.
important, you know.
Yeah, she wrote it that way. All right, give me a motion.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. Item R. Approve and authorize the mayor to execute engagement letters with Jones Walker for to serve as bond counsel for the $2 million general obligation public improvement bonds. Cities,
Yeah,
ma'am?
that's the engagement letter.
Yeah. Series 2020, City of Canton, Mississippi.
Or just after the last two, we need to approve that. Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. S, accept quote and authorize measurement with John Deere for a 9570 hour scrapper tractor at state contract price.
We only received one quote, and we didn't obtain any others. For
It's
this?
a state contract price.
State contract, yeah.
Okay. So what you saying is the best deal you're gonna get?
And what the
No,
problem
no.
is.
Yeah, and we actually, this is landfill,
Landfill.
and actually, you know, Melon got all the warranty and stuff written up with it as well.
Right.
And I spoke with,
Physical damage.
I spoke with Mr.
insurance and
Gag
all
about
that.
it as well,
Yeah.
and about the tractor we'd be doing,
So we don't need two quotes, we good with one?
yeah, with state contract.
You won't get any cheaper state
Just
contract.
need one, yeah, state contract, okay.
Tell John Deere they need to give us a discount on that building, man.
Yeah.
Sure do.
They better invite us to the grand opening kickoff.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. Approve and authorize the mayor to execute master services and purchase agreement with Axon Enterprise Incorporated for the purchase of body work cameras in the police department.
This is the grant.
So moved.
Right.
Second.
All in favor? Approve and authorize the mayor to execute contract addendum extension with Phyllis Rose, PhD of Rose Financial Group LLC until December 2020.
At what contract price? I mean, what would be the?
That's those that is managing all
It's
of those grants.
this,
I
yeah,
know, but
same
what-
price.
what- it's the same price.
Mm-hmm, it
Okay,
is.
now,
That's
Same price.
We're just extending the time because it's up
And
December.
so, you know, I didn't know whether it was an increase in.
No.
Decrease?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. Consideration of revised pay application number 1 to Great Southern Recreation in an amount of $240,000 regarding the South Park Project splash pad. Said amount includes a 5% retainage for damage pursuant to the contract. Pay application number 1 was recommended and reviewed by Christopher Trubisky, Neil Schaefer, Senior Project Manager. What does that mean?
We wanna
Yeah,
take.
we
Y'all
gonna
don't,
take
y'all
it.
don't do it, I don't think.
We wanna table it.
Table that.
I need to table that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanna table it.
Y'all wanna request that they come before?
Yeah.
Give a sentence of completion that.
Motion to table and for them,
To come.
with them
Come.
up here before
Yeah.
us.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. Chair will entertain a motion to go to determination of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried.
Yeah, yeah.
I can take it. Well, they do everything without me, so I was.
That's why I'm telling you to do.
I know the plan. I still make it.
Yes.
They had I got tape in my circle. And I need them anyway, I don't know what it is. I just want to go.
I just want to say hello to everyone.